This conference will now be recorded.
If you look at your screen, you'll see several different icons. The first one at the top is a microphone. That you need to click anytime that you want to speak, and that will be during the Q&A part if you want to actually ask your question out loud, or you'll be able to type it into the comment box. We request that everybody have theirs muted during the presentation just because of feedback and things that come through other computers. The second one there is sharing your screen. Nobody besides myself will be doing that today. And then the third one there is the webcam. And so again, if you want to show your picture, who you are, while you're asking those questions, it's totally appropriate. It's also totally appropriate to leave it off even if you talk. During the actual presentation, I will turn off my webcam until the Q&A section, because you don't need to be looking at both me and the information. I always look over to this side because that's where I look at comments and things. So if you see me looking off to the side, I'm not ignoring everybody, and I'll try and look directly at the camera when I'm answering your questions. And the next icon down is the chat icon, and you can chat to everybody in the group. You can chat just to the organizers, and those are Charlie Carver and Catherine Karen, who are there to answer any questions that you may have during the presentation, or at the end. We'll be fielding those questions at that point. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to turn off my webcam now, and want to start talking about what Michigan International Prep has to offer. So we really believe in this mission, that every child, every learning style, every step of the way, we have the curriculum that works, because we use different providers, as we'll talk about in a little while, to try and meet the needs of every student. We know every child is unique, and we want to be able to address that. Wanted to show these pictures here because this is kind of a crowning moment for some of our students. This is 2 of the graduation ceremonies we hosted around the state. And these are some of those students who attended that graduation ceremony and are off to bigger and better things now. Why choose MIPS? Really, it's because no 2 students are the same. Michigan International Prep School is a tuition-free virtual K-12 school. We offer flexible and customizable learning solution for your child. You'll work directly with our experts on staff to help figure out what they need. It's really a chance for students to learn in the safety of their own home or in a drop-in learning lab that we have 4 of around the state, without worrying about bullying, peer pressure, those typical things that you worry about so much in other schools. It's a chance really for accelerated students to work on curriculum above their grade level, for high school students to get a jump start in college, for high school students to possibly graduate early, as we had a few do this year. And really, it's an opportunity for kids to rediscover their passion for learning, that they can learn at their level and to reach for their full potential as thoughtful leaders and innovators of tomorrow. So who do we serve at MIPS? We serve any student who resides in the state of Michigan. That makes us somewhat unique from others. In grades kindergarten through high school, all the way through 12th grade, as you saw from our graduation pictures. We also can serve those students who have dropped out of school and would like to start back towards a diploma up until 22 years of age. Those students whose extracurricular schedule makes attending regular school difficult or impossible. And I've known in my career students who were interested in becoming Olympians, or they wanted to become professional athletes, and so they devoted a lot of time to those endeavors, and attendance at school was very difficult for them from time to time. We also serve those students who struggle with a variety of social and emotional situations, such as anxiety or other medical needs that they might have. We serve students who are ahead of their peers and want to move as fast as they can through their learning environment. It's interesting that the students often will complain about being bored in class because they finished their work, but they have to wait for everybody else. That's one of the things that we can help students just keep moving ahead at their pace. And we help all those parents who don't feel comfortable in the traditional school environment. I want to talk about a couple of things, though, that a cyber charter school can't do, because we want to make sure that we address everything. We can't pay a stipend to parents for reimbursement of extracurricular or co-curricular activities, such as music lessons, sports, camps, those sort of things. And really no publicly funded school can do this. It's public dollars have to go for the public things, can't go to that private individual. We can't allow students only to complete a couple of courses each year. I'll talk more about how that works though in our environment in the section where we talk about what we can do. We can't take students part-time. We can't offer courses that are not taught by a Michigan certified teacher. All of our teachers are on staff and are certified. We can't allow students to complete an associate's degree through dual enrollment during their high school years. Only early colleges are actually permitted to do that within the state. But here's the exciting things that we can do. We can allow students to do sequential learning depending upon their educational development plan. The ADP is something that happens in every school in the state of Michigan, or is supposed to, and we look at what they really need. This idea of sequential learning is your child may do best with 1 or 2 classes at a time instead of the 5 at a time that most students will have. And that's okay. And so within then a very specific time frame that is selected for those 1, 2, 3, however many classes that is dictated for your specific situation, they'll complete those classes within that time, okay? And so that is worked out with Catherine Karen and the mentors to help determine what your child best needs to meet those situations. We can support students outside the traditional environment or school. Because our teachers are there virtually, there are times when they'll be available for your children after the traditional school day would have ended, either via email or via chatting like this on the GoToMeeting or other means. We can eliminate many of the distractions that exist in the regular school, the things that take up so much of a child's social time but don't really contribute to their academic. We can support students via dual enrollment up to the 10 classes, 10 college classes during their high school years. And this is at any college in the state of Michigan. Once we know where a student wants to go, then we work directly with that college or university to make that happen. We can offer different curriculums based upon the actual needs of the students. It's not just a one-size-fits-all. We can provide a close connection with mentors and teachers. That's something that doesn't always happen in the brick and mortar when you have 30 or 35 kids sitting in front of you. There may be days where your child doesn't speak to their teacher. And this is something where they can reach out to them on a regular basis. We can offer additional courses beyond that 10 as students complete coursework and want to move ahead. So really the 10 courses that we offer for every student over the course of the year is our floor rather than our ceiling. Once they complete those, we have all sorts of other classes that they might choose from that are going to be aligned directly to their interests. We can allow parents to have more of a say in their child's education. And we can create opportunities for independent study elective options in grades 9 to 12. If students can think of it, we can probably make it happen. And MIPS is unique because of what we offer. We offer direct support from a mentor along with their regular content teachers. Now in the elementary school, our mentor is our content teacher so that there's that closer connection with that teacher. And those mentors reach out to your students every single week, multiple times a week if necessary, depending upon their progress or needs. That mentor helps develop the educational development plan, and that guides all of their schooling throughout their time with us at MIPS. We have drop-in learning labs with elective courses available as well as tutoring and additional one-on-one support. Currently, we have locations in Oak Park, Sandusky, Brandon Township, and Howell, and are investigating opening more as the years progress. As we have a critical mass of students in an area that need that additional one-on-one support, we open a center. And this is very unique to our program is live lessons weekly for core classes to ensure that your child's getting direct support on the curriculum. And what that looks like is, so I'll be teaching an English class as well this fall. And when I know that my students are going to be struggling in a specific topic, say they've taken an assessment and they still don't get the construct of a persuasive essay, then I'll take my live lesson time and focus on them so that they can get the material that they need so they can really truly understand it. We're also unique because of that minimum of 10 courses per year. Some places require additional credits. We go based on the Michigan Merit Curriculum and based upon our agreement with the state of Michigan of what they need for us to be able to accomplish. We're unique because we offer a flexible school year if the student needs more support. We run from the day after Labor Day, like most schools, and we go all the way until August 30th if students need that time. So it's not a separate summer school time for remedial education. It's a time where if there are unique needs to your child, then we can actually continue that out all the way through August 30th for that school year. It's an arrangement we've made with the state of Michigan. We can offer support for special education, 504 or other IEP needs. We offer schedules based upon student achievement and needs, not just a fixed time. So it's not a log in at 7:30 and log out at 2:30. It's what the progress of your student is doing. That's how our schedules focus for your student. We can offer access to supplemental materials such as IXL, PrepWorks, or Base Learning. IXL is a very unique program that my own children are doing all throughout the summer, where it takes every standard for math and ELA, and they take little practice things along the way so they can get to mastery. The best part about IXL is when they don't get the problem right, it teaches them immediately what they did wrong and how to fix that. PrepWorks is as it sounds, it's a SAT and PSAT preparation program along with ACT if students desire that, so that our students who are in the high school program and are preparing for those tests, they have additional supports to make them ready for it. And base learning is looking at the social and emotional learning needs of students, so we can help them figure those things out along the way as well. We also offer alternative education options. And this is, like I said before, is for students up to age 22 needing additional coursework or credit recovery towards a diploma. If a student has dropped out of school but now wants to come back, as long as they haven't turned 22 by September 1st, we can accept them in and help them achieve that high school diploma. This is something very near and dear to my heart because as a former teacher, I would see students years after that did not end up graduating from high school. I normally taught 9th and 10th grade English. They didn't end up graduating, and they were not working in a job that they really valued. They didn't know any way that they could change that. I just ran into a student this week who was in a similar situation from a former school. We can help kids get that diploma, which is that gatekeeper to most jobs today, including the military. You can't take a GED and get into the military. It has to be a high school diploma. We use a variety of curriculum depending upon the need of the students. And like I said, we discuss it with the parents, with the mentor, with our director of student services. In the elementary grades, right now our core curriculum options are Lincoln Learning, Pearson, or Accelerate Education. And in the middle and high school, we use Accelerate Education and Odysseyware. We're currently investigating others as the need arises for specific things for our students, and then we'll continue adding them to our program, depending on whatever will work best for the students. We also have options to be NCAA compliant for those student athletes, and that's primarily through Lincoln Learning or Admentum, and those programs are approved through the NCAA for that. Wanted to briefly show you this. It's one student's view, that's one of our recent graduates, of the opportunity that MIPS provided for her. And so I'm going to take a minute and let her speak in her own words.
Chose Michigan International Prep School because traditional school wasn't really working out for me. I was in a place where I was starting to fall behind because I couldn't get to school for medical reasons. Michigan International Prep School is very flexible, and I was able to not only complete my sophomore year on time, but also graduate a year early. My time at the school has been amazing. My mentor has been like a friend too, just always encouraging me to keep doing my best.
And that was such a unique opportunity to meet up with a student at her graduation and talk about those things that we were able to do to help her achieve her goals and now help her get on to the next step of her life. So as we round out this presentation side of it, here's some enrollment information if you're interested in applying, and I'll come back to this screen at the end. Like I said, this is going to be recorded, and we'll share this video out tomorrow on our website and on Facebook. But now I want to go to some contact information, and we can come back to this one as necessary as well. If you have additional questions or needs, again, my name is Lucas Pellis. I'm the Director of Curriculum and Instruction. There's my phone number and my email. And Catherine Karen is our Director of Student Services. There's her phone number and email. And we'll come back to this screen. But right now, I'm going to turn back on my camera because I like to look at people when I'm talking to them specifically. And you can either turn on your webcam and ask questions, just turn on your microphone and ask questions, or type them into the chat box. And well, I'll just, as they keep coming in, I'll answer those questions for you. And we'll stay in this as long as we need to. I know your time is valuable, so we're not going to try and be redundant, but we'll answer the questions that you have. One question that we had at our last meeting is about the holiday schedule that MIPS follows, and I wanted to address that because we've talked about that we start at September 1st and go all the way to, or September, the day after Labor Day, it changes every year, and go to August 30th. Our vacation schedule will follow, for our teachers, a traditional schedule as other schools, but the best part about it is your child can continue working throughout any vacation. Inevitably, if your children are like mine, they get bored with their presents ready a day or two after Christmas and want something else to do, well, they can continue working towards any curriculum that they have. And it doesn't increase their, nothing's assigned on those days, and so it's a chance to get ahead. A question that came into me is about do we have someone to help guide me through the enrollment process? And absolutely. We have Crystal Moore, who's our assistant registrar, and Catherine Karen, who's our director of student services. Their information is, I'll go back actually in here in a little bit, and it's on our website as well, and they can walk you through every step of the way. What do the mentors do? Our mentors are really our frontline support for our students. They communicate weekly with your child over their educational goals, their course progress, any needs that arise, issues with the curriculum or their technology, their future plans. We really want to know how we can support them, and our mentors are the ones that help us best to be able to do that. Do you have field trips for your students? Yes, and we actually just met a couple days ago on some more plans for that, and we are actively seeking information from interested students and families about what they would like to do, so we're not just throwing random things out there. And so our students will be receiving a survey here as the school year starts to let us know availability of time, what their interest level is, depending upon grade level, so we can begin pursuing those interests. And what type of testing do your students do? Our students, like any public school students, are required to do the state assessments. So that involves the M-STEP in the spring, the PSAT 8 and 9 for 8th graders and 9th graders and 10th graders, and then the SAT for juniors, along with the Michigan merit exam, which is the work keys and then part of the M step. We also offer the NWA, which is an adaptive system that allows us to know where your child's at the beginning of the year, so we can make sure they're placed in the correct course. And then we also will retest them at the end of the year to look at their growth to make sure that we're meeting the needs of your child. What are your learning labs like? Our learning labs are the place where our teachers staff those labs, so they're there directly available for children that need additional one-on-one support. And they work out of there communicating with their students as necessary. And then it's also a quiet place for students to come if they want to work directly out of that lab. Some students don't do their best work at home, and so they need a little bit of that adult supervision. So they can go there and they can have their computers there and work directly on their coursework at the labs. They have the microwaves and refrigerators to keep food and whatnot. It's just a kind of a comfortable place for kids that's totally free of the traditional worries that you'd find in a normal school. Here's a question that came in. We typically work on curriculum while others are on vacation and vacation during normal school breaks. Are break times flexible as long as they're meeting the 180-day criteria? And that 180-day is something that the state has looked at a lot. And now they look more at, did your students master the curriculum rather than how much time they actually sat in a seat? So I'll answer that question in two ways. Now, there are very specific count days that everybody in the state of Michigan has to follow, as that's where the funding source comes from. That's the first, I believe it's the first Wednesday in October and the first one in February. Outside of that, as students are progressing, if they need to take some time to go and do some trip, I know one student who's going to be going to Europe this coming school year, right in the month of September. We're going to get them set up. They'll be able to work from Europe for that for those 2 weeks that they'll be there. But then they can work on it over Thanksgiving, or over Christmas break, or over spring break. And they can put more time in when they are home, in advance of leaving. That's where the flexibility really comes in. It's not just about, you're not logging in at 7:30 and logging off at 2:30. Those aren't the requirements. The requirements are that you're progressing in the course. And so that's where that mentor connection is so important, because they're the ones that best know where you are at. If there's ever any concerns with that you're going to be going on vacation, it's always a good idea and best practice to let your mentor and teachers know, so they know what to expect and when to expect that work back in. And a question about what is the day-to-day schedule for your students? And like I just started answering that last question, it's at the student's own pace. They have to get their courses done within a set time frame that everybody will know upon day one, because it depends upon that sequential learning, how many of their 10 courses that they're doing at a time. And generally 5 would be the max that we'd do for students in each half of the year. But as students finish those, then they're done with that course and they can put more work on another. Once they're done with their 10, then we have a whole host of electives that they can choose from cybersecurity to engineering type classes, all sorts of things that they're interested in that will help prepare them for that career, or at least give them an idea of what they don't want to do or do want to do in the future. Are computers included upon enrollment for each student? Once a student enrolls, our technology assistant contacts each family to ascertain their technology needs, and we work with the family to make sure everything that they need to be successful is provided. At what ages can you accept students? For kindergarten, if a student is 5 by December 1st, we can accept them. And again, for those students who life got in the way and they didn't finish high school, as long as they are not 22 by September 1st, we can accept them to help them get their high school diploma. What type of test prep support do you offer? Like I showed before, we go through PrepWorks for our high school students, IXL for our elementary and middle school students to make sure that they're hitting the standards that they need and that they are familiar with the standardized testing procedures. Question about curriculum, so I wanted to show this briefly. Here is our website, www.miprepschool.org. And if you click here on the curriculum tab, that will open up to the variety of platforms that we use and different information based upon grade level. We're currently in the process of updating this, so bear with us that some things may change here, but you can click on these different things and download information specifically about our programs. Okay, I'm not seeing any other questions in the chat. I'll give just another minute or two before we wrap up. While we're waiting, I'm going to go back to this site, or this page rather, in case there's any interested people that want to get started with that enrollment procedure. All right, with no more questions coming in, I'm going to begin wrapping this up. I just want to say that I've worked with, and I've been in education, this is going into my 15th year, and I've worked in a variety of settings, from traditional schools to early colleges to I started a virtual school a few years back for a school district, and now I'm here at Michigan International Prep School. And never have I found a team of educators so focused on the individual needs and making sure that we're going to do whatever is possible to help our children, which are our students, be successful. That's our goal and that's our promise. If there's ever anything that I can do to help with clarifying any concerns, please reach out to me directly. I'm here to serve your students and to serve you as a family, as are the rest of the team that's available. We'll be doing different things throughout the state in the way of open houses and to help you get to know us better and see us face to face at times, depending on the region where you live. I just want to thank you for your time today. And if there are any additional questions, feel free to reach out to us, and we'll post this presentation tomorrow along with the slides, if in case you want to share it with anybody or want to review anything there. I'm going to go ahead and turn off my webcam and my screen sharing and stop the recording. And thank you for your time. Have a great day.